Live streaming is on.
Greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I will be your host this evening. And if you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 Pacific Standard Time. So make a note of this so you can watch and be part of the live stream. And here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you have done or what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunt Hangar, will not approve you. Now, if you are inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching this on YouTube, that's fine. That's great. Wonderful. Please enter your questions and comments in the chat box, pardon me, and I'll do my best to make your comments part of the show. Now, sometimes I can't get a word in edgewise myself, and so we might have already gone past that topic, but I will go ahead and post your comments. Now, if you find the Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please like. What I mean by like is give it a thumbs up. You're not going to see a like button, but you're going to see a thumbs up. So when I say like, I mean thumbs up. So thumbs up, subscribe, share the videos, and that helps the channel grow. Please consider joining our YouTube channel memberships starting at $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunt Hangar. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges on the YouTube chat. You'll have special emojis, kind of thing, that I can see who's a member, who's not. And you get access to unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. You can also use the super chat, which is the big dollar sign located at the bottom of the chat box, to make your donations. And I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. And I want to ask you to please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, don't use any words you wouldn't say around your children and grandchildren. And one last thing, the 16th, this Saturday coming up, Sparky and John Jordan, I think, are going to have a special show. They're going to have Dan Winship there, who is a craftsman extraordinaire, and you don't want to miss that. So I'm gonna plug that again Friday night. But without any further ado, I'm going to look over to my other monitor and post the link on the Stunt Hangar forum. So let me get that going, and I also need to bring up the chat box. So there's the link that's posted. All right, great. And let me check the live stream. Okay, so the other thing is too, when you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell and mark it for all notifications so that you will know when I come on. So hang on a second. I think I hear somebody.
No, not me.
Great. Let me.
What are you doing? What are you doing on this one? This is last week's.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Willis?
Well, I thought I signed in on the one for last Friday because you weren't showing there.
Oh, I just posted it, so maybe you beat me to the punch. I say 6:45, but you know what? I actually start the monologue around 6:45, and so depending on how long it takes me to get through it, it might be after that. So if you went there at 6:45, yeah, I've been trying to get the monologue going earlier so I can actually, post the link at that time. So that's probably what happened.
Okay, well, I've got 7:53 right now, which is my time, Mountain Time.
Okay. Yeah, I have 6:53. So I don't
So-
see you, John. Your camera's not on.
No, it's not, is it?
No. I've done that before. I did the whole monologue without the camera being on. So it happens. So what you been up to?
As little as possible. I'm trying to figure out why my camera is showing that it's on,
Oh, you know what? You might need to
but it's the light isn't on it.
yeah, what have I done? I've had that problem before. I'm not sure if I uninstalled it in the device manager and reinstalled the driver. That might be the more complicated way of doing it. But you have more than one camera or just one camera?
Just one camera.
Okay. Well, I'll let you figure that out. And hey, Tryan, and hey, Mark, how's it going, you guys?
Hey guys.
Good.
And then we have on the chat, we have Montana Farmer. He says, hey guys. And Greg says, Charles, something that never goes sad. Excuse me. Charles, something that never goes, let me slow down. Charles, something that never gets said. Okay. And then I have a new chat person. They said howdy.
Duty.
Oh, thanks, Greg. He says you're doing a great job. Thank you very much. I guess it's 12:53 p.m. here. He's in Brisbane, Australia. Now the new guy or new person, I don't even know how you would say that. It's spelled STVMCQN, and they said howdy. But howdy to you. And if you would like, you can come on into the chat. Everybody's welcome to come on in. And Montana Farmer, you tried last week, right? I think you had an issue. And Greg, I see you on the with Sparky and John all the time. Have you ever come in? I don't know if you ever tried to come in, Greg, but or Craig, excuse me. That would be wonderful if you came in too. So, anyways, hey Phil, how you doing, Phil?
Howdy. Doing great. Got a question for you, Charles.
Yeah.
I bought some of these lines. Is that the kind you got?
Yeah, I do. But when I bought them, they were only one end was terminated. I bought them at the Nats. Tom Morris had he had them on spools, but he just wrapped one end, and then you could measure whatever length you wanted. And so I terminated mine at 63 feet. And
yeah. Well, I thought these were the Russian lines, the ones that you oil when you get done. But it says they're stainless steel control lines.
Oh, yeah, you bought the wrong ones.
Yeah, this is the only ones that showed up. I mean, I bought the others, but this is what showed up.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. You actually have to make sure it says brass because, you know, there's the same color spool, I think, too.
Yeah,
he has a red spool and a yellow spool, but
the other was 14 thousandths and these are 15 thousandths.
Probably they're 14.5, which is allowable.
What?
It's 14.5.
14.5,
so
okay.
5 are the brass ones, Tryan.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's what I want, but I didn't get them this time, but I'll try again. You know, you can't buy. Used to could buy the old control lines and $12 you could buy a set of control lines, no sweat. Now it's not that easy anymore. But Tom Morris we used to be able to buy a bunch of them, a spool from Tom Morris and just make your own lines, which is what I wanted. I'm gonna get in touch with him and see if he still got that. If he does, I'm gonna order some. I've got a whole spool of 18 thousandths downstairs, but I use 15.
Oki Air has a line in bulk, and also the guys from Russia sell them in bulk as well. Was that the control line parts or something like that?
Control line parts. Thank you, Trey.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember that.
Yeah. And also give a plug for MBS Supply. He sells lines as well. He's a USA, so it might be quicker to get him.
Who's he?
MBS Supply. He's kind of like a combat supplier, but he also has lines and handles and
Okay.
yeah,
I'll
MBS Supply.
try to get in touch with him tomorrow.
MBS
Hey,
Supply. He
John.
actually works another job, so you might on the website you can make a message or something. He'll get back to you. He doesn't always answer the phone because he's busy. We're all busy, right?
There's a fellow in Georgia who's making a trainer plane that the guys are all going nuts about up here. Luke picked up one or two while he was down there at the contest this summer, and it's Yuki kits is what they call it.
Oh, those been around a long time.
Yeah, that thing looks neat. Hadn't had a chance to fly it yet, but we would have if Hobby Park had been in one piece, but somebody messed it up for us. But anyway, I'm anxious to see that thing fly. The tail looks too small, but the rest of it looks like an interesting little airplane.
What's it called?
What's
it called again?
It's just all I know is Yuki's. UKIES. Tran may know. He's from down his part of the country.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
You don't know him either?
It's an old plane. I've heard that name.
It's a
way
plane.
Back when.
It's
Yuki's been
made
around
down there by some guy, but it's got foam wings. It's got wooden spars in it, but otherwise it's just covered in Econocoat, and it's got a hardwood fuselage. The tail is basswood, but it looks too darn small. But Tom Dixon says they fly very well. So if Tom says it flies, it flies. I've known him a long time. He's never steered me wrong yet. So
does the Yuki still come in 3 different sizes?
2 is what I was told, but there may be 3, John. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's a little plane called a Yuki. I can show you. I think I can show you a picture of it. Wait a minute. Let me see if my phone's cooperating. Nothing else has been. I thought I bought a plane off the internet, off eBay today, and when I went to pay for it, they charged me $9 tax. He's in California and trying to charge me tax.
Yeah, eBay has a 10% tax.
They do?
Yep.
When did they start doing that?
Here just a couple months ago.
Right.
Probably first of the year, maybe.
Somebody got a bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Philip.
I've got 2 lovebirds over here.
Ah,
start
they're
talking,
the ones
they get
that are
excited.
talking.
Yeah, they're a mess. Indy and Riley, and they're both a mess.
Well, I'm in tonight, so I've
Yeah. One of them's had a stroke. He's having a tough time. Oh, I just deleted the picture. I didn't mean to delete. But anyway.
You can find it.
Let me say hi to Gary and Eddie. Thanks for coming in, you guys. And Montana Farmer, he responded to my question. He said, my internet ain't good enough to run my camera or microphone. Hopefully getting new internet here soon so I can join you guys. That'd be great. I look forward to it. And Craig, why don't you come in also? I know you're a member.
I don't see that or not.
Oh, make yourself big.
That looks like a Yuki.
Hang on. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's OS 25. It's made for a Fox 35, but as most of us know, if you tied the 2 of them back to back, OS 25 would pull the Fox 35 and drown it.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I think I've got one of those.
It's a neat looking little airplane, and I tell you,
hey, Peter.
I've not seen it fly, but it looks.
Is it a trainer?
It's a trainer.
Yeah, it's a trainer.
Hold on a second.
Is it just
That's
a
what we're all
kit?
trying to do is come up. We got all these people wanting us to teach them how to fly.
Oh, that's a
All
good
these people
problem to
want us
have.
to teach them how to fly, and they think they're going to walk up and fly my Nobler or fly one of my pull up planes, and no, sorry folks, can't do that.
That Yuki's a pretty decent flyer in its own right. I think
That's what I hear.
I think it inspired the one you like so much, the
Tiyosaki. It may have. I think Tiyosaki really. I was there when that one came about, and it's actually a combat plane that he put landing gear on. Clayton was a combat flyer, an avid combat flyer.
So was the Yuki. It was a combat plane.
Oh, okay.
Stretched the fuselage out a little bit on it. Joe, what's his last name? I don't know if he's still with us, but Joe. Well, I think it's a Russian name. Anyway, he was the one that developed it. And back 20 years ago, they were the hot ticket going for guys could learn how to fly. You could dork it multiple times and it'd still fly.
Yeah. It's a tough looking little airplane. I mean, I'm not crazy about the idea of the wings being just foam with the coat over them, but hey, if it works, it works.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
Oh, they should be pretty sturdy.
Yeah, it should be. They're not hollowed or anything. So I'm building the SIG Skyray. I'm building one of those just out of wood wings and balsa wood wings, and going to try to doing what I forgot the guy's name that did the
Brett Buck.
Brett Buck. He did an article on it and told the things to change. I'm doing part of it. I'm going to expand the tail, like he said, but I'm not going to shorten the fuselage. All my experiments in the last few years, I've been stretching the fuselages out longer and flying much more stable and still getting just as good a turns as ever.
Nah.
No.
Why would sacrilege?
Yeah, I know. Coming from a guy who flies a plane that amazes everybody by how long it is and it still turns. That sounds good, Tran. That thing turns so well, gosh. But T.O.'s got a tail on it. I don't remember how big it is, but it just looks out of place. It's so long. But it's like trainer's plane. You fly it so far into the turn and it pops and turns and it's so stable. Hey, Steve.
Hey, guys.
I got a question for you too, but I'll have to think about what it was now. I can't remember nothing tonight.
Hey guys, let me indulge you guys for a second. I was listening to Sparky this weekend. I try to listen to his show as much as he can with Jordan, and he was talking about when I flew the Junar at the Nats, and he said that he couldn't watch me fly.
Yeah.
Which I can understand that. You know, you're a beautiful plane, you're letting someone else fly it, and so I want to play it, and hopefully he hasn't gone to sleep yet. I'm sure he listens to the show, and I want him to see.
You want to make it
fly. So just bear with me for a second.
It's awful little.
Uh-oh, where'd it go?
Can you guys see it?
Charles, you're a big guy. Why are you having to lean into that thing so much?
So, Sparky, this is what you filmed, but you said you wasn't watching it, so.
The thing turns well.
Yeah, it actually turned a lot quicker than any plane I had flown. And so I was actually on the intersection on the vertical 8. I wasn't responding quick enough. I wasn't coming off of it quick enough. I had to work on that. And mind you, this flight, I think it was my second pattern with the plane. I spent most of the time getting a handle that I brought, trying to figure out neutral. And I took a hard point handle to the Nats. And I was hoping to use Sparky's handle, but I think he was concerned that I might change it or readjust it. So he put a different handle on. And when I discovered that, I said, "Oh shoot! If I got to figure out his handle, I might as well use the handle I'm familiar with." So I took out my handle, and I spent most of the 2 days trying to get the neutral right and other things I was trying to figure out.
I think that's one of the hardest things to do is fly a new plane and have to set a new handle.
Yeah, so this is my official flight, but I really, like I said, I think it's only my second pattern. with the plane. I was just feeling it out during my official flight still. So I was flying it high. Of course, I don't want anything to happen to the plane.
Yeah, that's what I always. Anytime you fly somebody else's plane, you end up flying high and you end up flying very safe.
Yeah. Oh, I did not want to tell Sparky I'm sorry. That was the number one goal, was for me to make sure that he got his plane back in one piece.
Yeah, that's always the goal. You know, Sparky, I saw Sparky fly that plane at Huntersville, and he's not near as easy on it as you're being. But that is one good flying airplane right there.
Yeah, it's the best plane that I can remember ever flying.
All right, I'm back.
700 squares, and it's only 58.5 ounces. I would have had a chance to fly Cheyenne's plane, but Sparky wanted to leave Friday, so he left, and I missed a chance to fly Cheyenne's plane. But I was really, when I came back home, I had so much disdain for my own airplanes after flying Sparky.
Oh, I know what you mean. I tell you what, I flew with Tom Looper for years. I mean, I've flown with him 45 years. Well, I've been married 46 years, so 45 years now. And he let me fly one of his planes one day, and I was ready to go home and throw mine away.
Yeah. I wonder why you can't get the top of the screen. I know he got more of the...
He wasn't watching. That's what happened. He put the thing on a tripod or
I've
something.
watched it on YouTube, and it's bigger than that. But hey, what we got. At least it's not
got it with his camera, with his telephone. Looks like a shot with a telephone. So, but I tell you what, Sparky's pretty good when he concentrates. You're not used to the turn rate on that airplane. That's evident.
Oh no, it turned better than any plane I had. Remember, I'm flying an 80-ounce Strega.
Yeah. The heaviest airplane I have ever flown was a Strega, but it was Larry Drone's nephew's plane, who had won the Nationals with it just a few months before, Kent Tyser. And it flew very well. It flew very well to be that heavy, but I tried to fly it again in the wind one day, and Lord, I always thought a heavy plane flew better in the wind.
That was Charles Carter.
Ain't so.
I love hearing Sparky. That was Charles Carter. It was a sigh of relief.
Yeah, he sounded like he was happy to see that, and I see the landing.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you ever fly Triumph's airplane, when the motor quits, you're still gonna make another lap.
Oh, really?
We got 5 people watching, and we should have 5 thumbs up, but we only have 1. So smash that like button.
Yeah, smash that like button.
I haven't done that yet tonight. I'll do that right quick.
Yeah, give it a thumbs up. That helps the channel grow. Well, I think I'm just going to get ready to land here in a minute or a second. But that's good enough.
Yeah. You've been saying that. I've been thinking that for about the last 6 laps.
There
it goes.
Yeah.
It froze up.
Yeah.
No, I stopped it.
Hey, Phil.
Be more of the same.
Sir.
Hey, Robert.
Snuck out.
To the show.
Hey, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Charles. Hey, everybody. Good to see you.
Is this it?
That's it.
Other up there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually
That
beautiful.
looks like it.
It's been above
That looks
freezing
like
for
it.
the last week and a half.
Got the
Although the upper winds are a bit nasty when I was up flying today, so.
adjustable elevator.
Yeah. That's it.
It's plywood. It's heavy. It's got foam wings. I actually had 2 of them. The guy gave them to me at the field when we were flying, and said, here, let your boys train with them, but I never to get it in the air. And then Mike said, he called me or texted me one day, he asked me if I still had them. I said, yeah. He said, well, I'll tell you what. He said, you give me one of those trainer planes and $25, I'll give you that Super Chipmunk.
Mm-hmm.
So I've still got one of them, and got a 48-inch wingspan on it, but the thing's heavy. But yeah, it's a pine body, foam wing, single wheel. But
Yeah, they modified. The
you
guys
can
are modifying the ones we got to be. They put the bell crank on the bottom, and they put the controls, of course, on the bottom too. Then, and then they put a different rudder on it, and they put 2-wheel landing gear on it. But it looks like it's going to be a cute little airplane. I don't know. We'll find out. First time we get, probably going to be in 2 weeks when we got the 20th or 21st or whatever it is, when we go down to Huntersville for a club meeting and a flying day.
Yeah, well, this, like
I don't think Hobby Park's going to be back together by then.
It's got that adjustable rudder on it, so you can adjust how much throw it has, so they don't overcorrect.
Yep. And you don't need much throw. As little as that tail is, it's surprising how little elevator you use.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I built up about 6 of those last year with another 2 to go. So waiting for spring to try them out.
Well, apparently they're really nice. I have not seen one fly, but Tom has flown Larry drones, and he's flown, I guess, Tom Dixon's. I don't know who the other one was, but they all talk like it really flew well. So we'll find out in a few weeks. He says, I want to get you on the handle of it. Told him if his shoulder's back in shape, I'd love to. I'm going to fly my plane. My plane don't pull as hard as his planes fly. Those guys like to fly planes that pull you off the ground. And
nice.
My old shoulders need surgery, I know, but I just can't fly planes that pull like that.
I mean, it's nice to have a plane that pulls, but if it's so overwhelming, I mean, it's just too hard. It's uncomfortable to fly.
Yeah,
you have to tame it down a little bit.
I hate it when they don't pull.
Well,
there's a line from not having pull, the right pull, and too much.
Too much, yeah.
So you want to be, if you have good control, nice lines on the top, hourglass, overheads and 4-leaf clover. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, but you have enough. That's all you need. Anything more than that is gonna just, I don't think it's
in the way.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I just broke the cat, and I finally managed to go out and fly for the first time this year, yesterday.
All right.
And so what I did is I took a little block that I had, about 3/4 of an inch block of wood that was in the front that was acting as a stop for my battery, because I slide forward until it bottoms out, right?
Right.
So I moved my battery forward 3/4 of an inch, and that's basically, the battery is the heaviest component of the whole plane, by far, right?
Yeah.
So technically I moved the CG forward a little bit, and wow, I'm going like, man, what a change. I have much crisper, much tighter line tension, and after that, when I was at the Nats and I made the decision to bring the battery back, I was flying that tiny pattern that was probably tops at 30 degrees, 32 degrees squares that are defined, right? I mean, you see the straight lines like that at 30 degrees. So the corner was dynamite. So I took some of the corner off, but now because I'm trying to make the maneuvers bigger at 45 degrees, I feel like I have forever, I'm turning and I just wait for the plane to climb, and then turning and just wait for it to go there. I'm just like, it feels like I can read a book between the turns, so. And I'm not hurting, and I'm really not hurting for the corner at all. I mean, as the size is bigger, the corner is still super tight. So I think I'm going to stay with it and leave it to it. But as in the future, what I would like to do is maybe play with. I'm gonna make notes of all the setups that I have right now. But in the future, what I want to do is maybe go fly in if I catch some windy weather, I would like to play with the battery position, because I think the plane likes the CG back in windy conditions, and it likes the CG a little bit more forward in calm conditions.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good forward CG. That's good. I got some flying in over the weekend, and mine is, well, I call it my Franken streak. It's just kind of like a junkyard dog that I'm using to fly. I need to buy stock in a prop company now because it's way too forward CG, and of course it's okay. But the grass was a little tall, so every landing I had a pile of props that I could have started a fire with.
Yeah.
I do have something I put together. If you don't mind, I'll share it and show you guys.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah, that'd be great, Mark. Show and tells are awesome.
Let me see if I can actually show and tell without getting the wrong picture up here. Okay, it's share your screen, right?
Yeah, share your screen.
Allow. Now see, I don't know what I just did. What did I just do?
Everyone does
Everybody's on the keyboard.
That's pretty cool.
It's going farther and farther away.
Everybody's on the keyboard.
Everyone's done that at least once.
Yeah.
Let's try that again. Okay, so share your screen, click once.
Well, you trying that one out.
Allow 8x8. Okay, allow. I don't know what it's doing.
Goodbye.
Are you selecting the application, Mark?
Boy, I got no idea what I'm like. Okay, let me do this. Let me go. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. Go to the application, right?
Right. First, bring the picture up. Bring it up first, and then go to share your screen, and then pick the application window.
Well, that's what I thought it did.
While you're doing that, let me catch up with the chat box.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Nope.
Goodbye.
While you figure that out, let me catch up on the chat box. This new person we have, and I don't know how to say that name. You have to forgive me on that, but I'll read what you said. You said, "Howdy, guys. I've been out of flying now for 40 years. Want to get back into it? But
why?
Do you think?
Why?
Question mark.
You lost your mind."
And then he goes on the second time. He says, "I've been away from flying 40 years and want to get back into it, but I'm worried about getting dizzy and not physically being able to keep up. What do you think? I'm reasonably good health." Well, if you're in good health, you shouldn't have any problem. I actually,
Cheap plane.
when I got back into it, it had been at least 25 years for me, and it was just like riding a bicycle. You know, I did get a little dizzy, but after I just started focusing on the plane, then the dizziness went away. And so I think you're going to find it very pleasant. What happened to me is I couldn't believe that I had stopped flying. I couldn't understand how I could let, life get in the way, and to the point that I didn't do it at all for 25 years. That astounded me. Oh, so you got it up, Mark.
I think, right?
Yeah, I see something.
Battery. Looks like we have a door, a car door opener.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Well, look at that.
A stooge.
Oh, it's a stooge. Very cool.
An electronic stooge. Son of a gun.
And it worked well, I thought. Yeah. Because I can pull up some other.
Well, at least you won't trip over the string.
High tech of a stooge as you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same idea I showed last year. I took in the battery and the receiver. I built into my field box, and so I don't have to have it on the ground, and then I can plug it into multiples if I want a combat stooge or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty slick.
Hey, Mark, show us that picture of your toenails being painted.
You know he's in trouble, Mark, if Steve's on the line.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Of the toes, the painted toenails.
Painted toenails. I thought pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, they're probably there. Let me see. Okay, hand it that way.
There. Oh.
Oh,
Mark, yeah, beautiful.
Oh, I will not be able. I will not be able to.
That's what he does
that one.
when he's not at home.
Trey, and I agree with you, brother.
Oh no, there it goes again.
Mark, you have some very feminine feet.
Well, let
me see if I can get this. Let me see if I can get this back to airplanes. Steve,
what?
Are you?
Hey, Mark.
Grief. Talk about
there's the prop.
When are you going back to the hobby shop?
Pictures. I don't know. That.
How about make me a phone? How about make a phone call tomorrow for me? See if any of them can find you the left-handed spinner, the clockwise spinner, like you've got on your plane. My hobby shop has been trying to get me one since the first time you told me about that. That was back in November, and I still don't have a spinner. I've still got a plastic spinner on the front of my plane.
What's that name place for Alabama?
Do what?
Okie Air.
Okie Air's got them?
Has them in stock.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. I'll call him tomorrow. Thank you. That'll work. I'll call him tomorrow.
Yeah, otherwise...
Mark, you get the screen cleared. Can I show you something?
Go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the same thing as you. I built my first one a couple of years last year, and I'm doing version 2 now. But I'm making it that it's both for a tail tie down as well as for stabilizer flop down mounts. But I'll show you what I did for my field box. I took and I built in all the excess wire that came with it, with that kit that you had. Like you had 4 of them, one with really long leads. I built it into my field box with the battery in there. And then I just spin out the leads to it, so I don't have the receiver or the battery on my stooge itself. And the other advantage of that is eventually I want to make a flip arm combat launcher, so I'll just use another one of my servos for that, and I can use the same field box because you're carrying it out there anyway. So anyway, it works fairly well. And I'm going to grab my prototype I'm building up for my second version 2 here.
That's probably a better move, but, well, at least because with that McCoy 35, everything is nicely oiled.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Okay, I just started in on version 2. I'm just starting in on a plywood mock-up. But what I did for this one, rather than my homemade thing, I just took one of the Brodak plates and tied it directly on with a piece of wire. And this is set up so that I can clip, if for whatever reason the servo isn't working or I got a dead battery or something, I can just rig up the usual string to it.
Hold it up a little bit. Can't see it. There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I've got rigged up here so that I can tie a conventional, cord onto it too and pull if I have to. And the spring on the Brodak one works with the servo return too. So hopefully it's an additional level of failsafe while walking out to the airplane or to the handle.
That servo.
Come on. A little higher up, Robert, please.
The servos are
car door opener.
The servos are actually a door opener kit, a door lock kit.
You can get them online.
It comes with 4 of them and the receiver and 2 key fobs.
Oh, okay.
So I bought them for a car that I never did put them in. So I figured, what the hell? I'll try it out for this, and it actually works pretty good.
You can get the whole works for about $30 off of it.
Yeah, they're cheap.
That? Then you don't have to worry about getting tied up in the thing. Like somebody did a report on that story on that where he went flying with a self launcher like that, and he said the only problem was after about 10 laps he noticed something around his feet. A few minutes later, he was laying on the ground trying to fly the plane.
He cold it.
Well, that happened to Rusty also.
Happened to me also too.
Last year when I was showing it.
Everybody laughs at me, but when I use a self launcher, it's just long enough to get to the end of my hand, and I've got a weight on it. And as soon as I pull it, I throw that sucker.
Right.
I went 10 or 15 feet away from me.
That's correct.
But
that's very good.
Yeah.
What do you have, a central back in your house there?
What?
I think your mic is messing up there, buddy.
I don't know.
I think we lost.
I was wondering if he had a central back in his house. When he was showing that, I could see all the pipes in the ceiling. Woodworking.
Whoa. Yeah. It looks like
you're talking about your
mine?
dust collection system, Robert.
About which?
Your dust collection system.
Is that
yeah?
or is that a whack?
I got an industrial dust collector built in. I don't know if you can see it in the corner over there. Sort of behind my sanding station, but
boy, it must be nice. Man, if you don't build some nice models, something's wrong.
Man,
he has a real nice setup.
Well, I wish I had the nice warm place to go build like you have it over there. I mean, look at you in a t-shirt over there. Good God, I need gloves and hat and God knows what else to go in my garage to build right now. I mean, just crazy.
Even
I'll just sort of pan this up if you guys want.
Yeah. What is it, about 60 degrees freezing? Try it.
Man.
Here?
Yeah.
No.
It's not too bad. Now, I'm in Atlanta now, but I drove over from Aiken just now. But it's not too bad, but it's cold and wet.
It just
we got
rained.
snow on the ground right now. Not much.
Nice.
We got snow.
That's nice.
Very nice, Robert. Man, the envy. Wow.
No, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of shop reorganization now, getting it away from big time woodworking, more to model stuff. So just started putting in more of a parts organizer and getting everything more consolidated to be handier for model building. Then in another room just off, I've got all my models up on racks now. Well, a bunch of them anyway.
I like the way he does his Dremels.
It's coming along.
I like the way he does his Dremels, guys. He don't change tools. He changes Dremels. He's got so many of them there. He just gets the next tool.
There you go.
I didn't notice that. I was showing you, Robert.
In on that bench there if you want. Show you.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, everything was on casters, too. That's great.
This is a portable tool station and feed, outfeed. And it also, spin it around. Got my soldering stuff and whatnot, hot tools.
That's bad.
And then monocoating stuff. And then in here, these drawers, this drawer is all lift out Dremel bit.
Goodness.
Wow, that's very nice.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice.
And then these are all sticky, sandy things, steel wool. This drawer is all sanding belts. And this drawer is all sanding discs for my orbitals, as well as for my big thickness sander. And then here is a drawer that's all files that is from 50 grit to 2000, I think.
Good grief.
And then, of course, the obligatory miscellaneous with wire wheels and flex shafts and all that. And stashed away, I've got the couple of scroll saws and sanders and whatnot. So
now that you made us all jealous.
And then I got a few, I guess 3 belt sanders, portables, and a couple of orbitals, and planers and all that kind of stuff. So it's it used to be my living, so it's you have to have the tools.
Yeah, it's super living. Yeah,
tools make the difference.
Cabinet maker.
Earlier on, I went to show you. Showing
there you go.
Last year.
That's it.
Oh, that's a gotcha streak?
These were just for me to learn stunt on, right? And I'm looking forward to it this year. Now that this is a gotcha streak.
Oh, it is. Pardon me, Mark.
No, that's okay. That's actually the one I'm
with
calling,
a Fox 35 on it.
The one I'm calling Frankenstreak. It's got like 6 different layers of monocoat and broke in half about 5 times. I think that's. I think it was got this thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's going to be a bunch of them around here because we got so many people coming up wanting to learn to fly Yuki. That's about 6 of us are building the darn thing so we can have something to fly.
That's great.
My 2 airplanes got destroyed pretty quick, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Phil, I used your trick you gave me on that warp on that knobbler wing.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a China. Great.
Good deal.
And it didn't take much steam at all. I mean, I just used the kettle and, steamed until my glasses steamed up and my hands started burning. And then
and I was the way I do it. That's the way I do it. That's
great.
It's a crazy way to do things, but it works.
Hey, it really worked. Now I'll cut off the trailing edge like he was talking about, so I can get those flaps to line up.
Yeah, you'll be in good shape.
You're getting all ready to go flying string bags again now.
Yeah.
All this stuff you're learning is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm made up with this. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately though, it's after the doctor today, he gave me the news. He goes, the knee ain't gonna make it. They're gonna have to do a knee replacement 1st of February. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well. So he asked me if I ever do any things that are tough on my knees, and I said, well, that's the reason I'm here.
Yeah.
It's called walking.
Yeah, exactly.
Life.
Yeah, life.
Anyway, so give me plenty of build time. I'm gonna get some more kits and start working on that.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Yep.
That's the way to do
it.
it. I mean,
where do you fly in Atlanta, buddy?
I fly close to Canton.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it's called JJB Yellow Park.
Okay, I lived in Alpharetta for almost 23 years, so not too far from there. So.
So where you live now?
Well, Aiken, South Carolina, and Lagos, Nigeria, for about half the year or so.
Oh, okay, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I was National Service Tech for 6.5 years. And I came home one night, and my youngest daughter says, "Mama, who's that?" That was it. I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get back that time, that's for sure. That's
Hey, Dennis, you made it.
Dennis.
Hey, Dennis, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Dennis.
How's everybody?
Oh, wow.
How about you?
How did that dinner come out? I hope I didn't ruin dinner. Did it come out all right?
Of course it did.
All right.
Let's put it this way. I was cooking it, so I wasn't going to say it was bad. And since I was cooking it, I wasn't going to say it was bad.
That's normal. You never say the food that you're cooking is bad. You let other people complain. If they don't complain, you're fine.
That's right.
It's good.
That's right. So what can I say? I asked her how it was. She said, "It's fine."
Leave it at my case. I do
like I do when if they don't like the cooking, I tell them there's a can of Chef Boyardee in the cabinet if you want it.
That's it. That's it. Well, it's a matter of well, when my dad used to cook sometimes, and he made 2 different things. One was eat it and shut up. And the other thing he used to make was eat it or wear it. All right.
Ooh, that's hot.
Well, those are choices.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I suspect any of you got probably a similar story, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's it. I mean, there's not exactly a Michelin rated restaurant or anything like that. So.
Yeah.
So
I usually, if I don't have anything good to say, I don't say anything at all.
That's
I only remember my dad cooking one thing. He'd take potatoes, peel them, slice them thin, and we had an old coal-fired range. This was back in the 40s. Old coal-fired range. He'd peel them and just put them right on top of that range. No grease, no oil, whatever. That's the only thing I ever saw.
That's cool.
Now you want to talk about airplane. I'm talking about food now. Come on.
Well, Charles was
Go
telling me
ahead.
about an airplane he had with a vertical CG problem. I think that might have been it right there.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I called.
That's pretty cool.
I looked on Brodax, and the muffler is out of stock.
Yeah, terrific.
To what?
I mean the tongue muffler for OS Max 35S.
Mm.
Me look.
I didn't bother to call and speak to Nikki when it said they're out of stock.
I've got a tube, but I know I've got a tube, and I may have a tongue to fit that. I'll look in the morning.
Well, that'd be great.
I heard from Jan and Debbie's back to work, but Parker still's not.
And Parker is back as of today.
Oh, yeah.
Good deal.
Good.
Yeah, I talked to Jan earlier today, but John Parker is the guy who does all their laser cutting, and he had the COVID and was hospitalized on oxygen for a couple of days and home on oxygen. And this is all like, I don't know, middle of December or so, and he's back today, you know. So all things told, you know, it sounds like a pretty good recovery. I'm tickled to death to hear it. So
absolutely, I met John in Brodak 2016.
Now, what's his last name? It ain't Parker, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it
John
is
Parker.
Oh, okay. He just goes by personal. You know, it's just
Jan always calls him Parker. It's like you have to search a little bit to find what his first name is.
Okay.
Even when you talk to her on the phone, if you need him for something, she'll yell out, "Hey, Parker!" You know, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. But if you,
I thought it was his middle name, that he went by first and middle, like some people do.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Charles, you were there, and you said you met him in 2016. He is, as far as I know, the only person who's actually run the laser cutter there. So
yeah.
And while he was down, that was kind of serious. They had no backup plan for him.
I bet. Yeah, I saw him making fuel tanks too. That was fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by people who can make fuel tanks. I sit there and I'm mesmerized by it. But
that's enough for now. Thank you.
Wasn't it Nikki's boyfriend or something that was coming in making the fuel tanks?
Oh, I don't know who I saw I met the guy once, but
yeah, it was somebody's boyfriend that come in there and made tanks once a week or twice.
The machinist was making them when I was in there. The guy he was their machinist. He made some adapters for Terry while we were up there. He was making fuel tanks. But
Clay used to run. He did a little bit of everything up there.
Yeah, Clay can do everything, but they had that one guy that he was good at making them fuel tanks.
Yeah, and I think I saw Clay making landing gear too there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's Clay doing? Is he still working too, or?
Last I heard, Clay was retiring.
Oh shucks.
Yeah, I heard he was
something like 75 or something like that, and he was finally going to retire. So that could be where the mufflers are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll have to find a machinist or something to run all the machines. I mean, he made all the fixtures, everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made all the wire bending fixtures and the aluminum landing gears and all that kind of stuff. Spinner nuts and whatever. If you needed, he would make some oddball special parts like prop adapter, spinner adapters for an oddball thread or something like that. So
yeah.
I'll tell you what, he made some oddball stuff for Terry. I couldn't figure out what the heck it was. He took one of those ugly. If you bought a Super Tiger in the last 20 years, it comes with that ugly looking muffler thing that comes off in a round tube.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a thing that goes up in the end of that, like a plug that had a hole in it, and it makes a pretty darn good muffler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they had that. It was the front half was cast, kind of a square casting, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah.
And then it was, and then a round tube on the back. So he just basically made an end cap for that.
He did with an O-ring in it.
I'll be darned.
Press fit up in there, and it works. I mean, it's still on his engine.
Go ahead, Peter.
But,
you can show confirm if that's.
No, I mean, guys, this is the original
That's it.
Tiger piece. This
That's
is like,
it.
you guys
That's
are
an
talking.
ugly thing. I'm telling you, but it works.
Yeah. And then Tryon, what did you want to show us, Tryon?
What?
What did you want to show us?
Well, I had the molds. One of the molds just finally showed up, and there was some skins inside of it. I had some issues with the shipping stuff. They cracked the mold open.
They cracked one of your molds?
Yeah. So now I have to repair it, and because of that, I had to take this out of the mold. So I was just, if you guys are curious to see how they come out of the mold.
Oh, beautiful!
Oh yeah, nice.
This is the finish you get out of the mold. So if you paint, if you paint in the mold, this is what you get, and this is the wing.
Wow, why is that not good enough? I mean, great.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Is that
that's just gorgeous.
Carbon? I don't know is that just standard carbon, or is it carbon veil, or what is the material?
It's not veil. It's called.
I don't know anything about it. That's why I'm asking.
Unidirectional, isn't it?
Yeah, this is called carbo wave, and carbo is a certain grain of the carbon. I see if you can see it.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you can see it.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
So the grains go in two directions.
Right.
So you lay like this for torsion rigidity, right? And then you can see the spot underneath.
That's what I was going to ask you. I can see that for sure. Yeah.
It's
Almost
plaid.
looks like a black plaid, yeah.
But when you look at it, like when it's all assembled, it looks black.
Sure.
I mean, you can't really see through it. So it's very, very fine. And that's kind of like, look at the finish I get.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
And this is how it comes out of the mold. So why would you paint it after that? It doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Yeah.
So
you
this
can see it better.
Yeah. So this is half of the wing skin, and I just out of curiosity, I put it on a scale.
I was going to
see how
ask.
much this thing weighs. So basically, it's half of the wing.
Wow.
Any guesses?
Quarter.
No idea.
2 ounces.
7 grams.
Oh, come on. No, actually, this skin right here, it's 38 grams.
Wow.
Oh, about an ounce and a quarter.
Yeah, about that much.
That is cool.
That is really nice.
So basically, looking at this wing plus the flap section, it's always about 48 grams.
So if you were to put a yardstick on top of that, and how high could you read it? The reflection.
I'm sorry.
What's your depth?
Sparky was talking about how you indicate the depth of the paint job, and they would put a yardstick against the surface and see how far they can read it. Now give you the depth of the finish.
Reflection.
Let me get one.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think it's pretty shiny.
Mine's been like mine's like a -2.
Flat black.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad.
I don't believe I would have admitted that.
Yeah.
My paint jobs are 40 years old right now, so they ain't got much shine.
No.
Yeah.
So I wager it's probably an 18-inch finish.
Huh. Wouldn't surprise me any. I know one thing. We had guys that had at our Huntersville contest. There's always some guys that show up and have some planes that everybody oohs and ahs over. And the first year Tran brought that plane down there, the guys that usually get to oohs and ahs were really getting disappointed because everybody was looking at this black carbon fiber airplane instead of looking at theirs. Their whiz-bang 76s.
So can you read? How far up can you read?
I mean, I can see the whole scale. This is transparent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is hard to see to begin with. Because
I think what you need is a bright white yardstick on that black surface, or perfect black yardstick on a white surface, or something.
Well, you can
like
see
that.
way up it.
You can read it and read it forever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
What you'd have to do is you need to set it down on a flat surface and set it down on there, and then read. See what you can read in your reflector.
I don't know. I can see. It looks like you got a couple of cavities in that bicuspid there.
Yeah, we can see your nose hair. So it's definitely.
No,
that's you need it. You need a trim.
Wow,
you need a trim. Yeah.
Well, when you do it that way, trying it's too much.
Wow, that is pretty funny.
Very nice.
Yeah. Hi there.
Well, obviously you wasn't polishing those molds for nothing.
There's not a ripple or pimple or nothing in that.
No,
look at this. My hand is straight up there.
Okay,
I'm waving at you.
All right. Seriously, do you do any after finishing on it at all? Do you do something like break the shine or anything like that to try to make it a little more even?
Nothing. This is out of the mold.
Well,
yeah, I know, but when you're finally flying it and everything like that, is that basically what you're going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to do any other special treatment or anything like that on it?
Nothing.
Do you don't buff it or nothing?
Nothing. I just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the paint in a mold, and I'm gonna take the wing out, and that's it. The only thing what I might do is put like a straight edge on it and do some panel lines on top of the paint job.
Mm-hmm.
When you bond the top and bottom together, I guess that joint, would you polish that joint, or how does that work?
What you have some flashing on it over here.
Right, you
see it on the front. Yeah. So you can just put the tape and just maybe recess it of maybe 1/16 of an inch or so, and cut most of it with a pair of scissors or whatever, and then you sand it until you touch the tape. And that's it. I don't think I'm really gonna mess with that. I mean, it's just like I think this kind of a finish should give you some points. That
beautiful.
Pretty much anywhere. And if you look like this at the grain.
Let me make you big again. Hang on, Tryon. Go ahead, Tryon.
See, actually, it doesn't do it justice, but the grain is shiny and
very, very nice. Yeah.
And it really pops up. So it's just the grain itself. It just looks like a paint job that's very,
So did it break your mold in half, or just put a crack in
it? They broke the chunk out of it like this, a corner. So
now the mold was made out of what material was it made out of?
It was a tooling board.
Was it? Now, did you have it insured?
Yeah. Yeah, we did have an insurance, but if you claim the insurance, they're gonna take it away from you. So.
Yeah.
So I have to repair it, but we have some special epoxy that when we bought the tooling board, we bought this epoxy as well, which has the proper color, the proper properties and stuff like that. You can repair with it and sand it and polish it and do it after that. So I think it's fixable. I mean, it was a nice chunk, but there are only 2 chunks that come back together and should be fine. I think it's just a matter of polishing it again and sanding it off, because I think I can glue it perfectly what it was before. I mean, it's upsetting to see something like that happening, but just.
Well, shouldn't they have to pay for another one to be built?
I think they should.
I guess
if you took it someplace and said, "Okay, I want you to make this and get it back to this shape and polish it and everything else," they should be. If you had insurance, they should pay for it all. You shouldn't, and I'd give them the old one.
Yeah, I mean, they should flip up some of the deal here. Right.
Yeah, but if you do all that, you're still going to have to polish the whole new one. It's not going to come polished. I mean, you had to polish the other one.
Yeah, you have to cut it out and then polish it.
It's still going to be a whole lot of work.
Oh, and by the way, this 38 grams is still with a bunch of PVA on top of it because I didn't clean it up yet. So
yeah, wow.
This is the kind of I think it passes the yardstick.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
We could see your arm and it was straight up. We could see how many fingers you were holding. So
wow, that is pretty amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
How many fingers?
Yeah, 2.
2. Looks like it was 2. Was it 3? Oh, it's 2.
Yeah.
Very good.
Wait a minute. Which fingers? No, I don't want to know that.
Two and a thumb.
Keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean. Somebody might be
Oh, that's
watching.
too funny. 2 and a thumb. That's too funny.
2 and a thumb, yeah.
So, Mike, you're going to put that further back? You're not going to put it where the hole's at?
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. Good to see you.
What am I doing, Steve?
That tail wheel, there's a hole for that already in that fuselage.
Yeah, but they're never beefy enough. I always put a plywood bracket on there, a plywood the tail wheel, because on the SV that I just did, it was literally through like, I don't know, 16th-inch ply or China ply, and it wobbled right out, on the first landing. So I'm going to beef it up with some ply.
What, the tail wheel?
Yeah, the tail wheel.
Yeah.
I got to do that to my Vector.
I'll just make a car. I'll make a simple like tail wheel, like we make like it's removable stuff.
Well, I'm not going to do removable.
No, it's just simple to do. Like I prefer that over like putting screws and stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do screws. I'm gonna, and I made a better tail wheel anyway because I don't like the one that comes with the kit. I'm going to sandwich this between 2 pieces of ply with this in the middle and a hole going through the ply and then glue it onto the airplane. It's what I do on all the ARFs.
Oh, okay.
I've had too many of them fall off or break.
You got the wing already in and stuff, Mike, or?
It's done.
Is it done?
It's finished. I just have to put the tail wheel in. That's it.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Sharp.
That's first annual this year. That's going to be his Pampa plane for this year. And then I started it Friday, and I finished it last night, other than the tail wheel. And then I got the Brian Gardner LA-46.
Nice.
Cool.
With a Randy needle to go in it. I got to mount the tank too. The tank's in there, but I got to get it in there and get it secured. But tail wheel and that, it'll be done. Got to break in the engine. Got to break in the Brian Gardner engine. So that's why the motor's not in it yet. I got to put it on the test stand and run some fuel through it.
Sam's still up?
No, he's in bed.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because of school tomorrow.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock here, man. He went to bed an hour ago.
Where you been, man?
I wanted him to show off all the stuff he got for Christmas.
Yeah, he was pretty happy with his 3D RC airplanes and the free flight stuff that he got. He was pretty jazzed about that. Where I've been, Phil, man, it was the holidays. I was with my family, man.
I'm glad to hear it. I
was-
didn't see you. We didn't see you for a couple of weeks. I tried to call you and your phone was changed. Your phone number is no good anymore. I said, what the heck?
Did you call my landline, maybe?
No, only thing I have is your cell number, and it has been changed.
No, my cell has not changed. It's the same it's been for 10 years. So
Well,
you got
see.
you got a bad one there.
Hey, Peter.
But no, it's been it was the holidays. I was with the fam. We were doing a lot of stuff. I haven't been working on anything, so I really haven't had anything to show or contribute to the show. So I figured I'd get on tonight because I got the Vector done. That's something at least. When I get done messing with this, I did end up buying that MoBest from Marshall Busby's son-in-law. I bought that MoBest profile, and I'm going to – it had an FP40 on it that was kind of clapped out. I'm going to redo the engine mount on that and resurrect the airplane, and I'm going to put Marshall's PA40 side exhaust in it that I bought from Tony's son-in-law. Because that's a pretty big airplane. That MoBest is a pretty big
It is
profile.
big, thick wing.
It is, and it's long,
And they fly
too.
great.
It's
You'll
got a
be
really
happy
long
with that.
wingspan. So
You'll
that
be
the
happy with that.
the PA is not a direct drop-in. I'm going to have to hog out the engine bearers and maybe scab some plywood on both sides just to keep it in there and it had a recessed tank on it too, and it was only a 4-ounce tank. I'm gonna have to fill that in and get that. I'm sure a PA40 is going to use more than 4 ounces of fuel.
The regular PA40 or the Merlin, Mike?
It's one of the original PA40 side exhausts.
Oh, okay.
It's not the ultralight, and it's not a pipe. It's a side exhaust.
I can't remember. It's been so long since I had one. I can't remember.
I'm thinking it has to use more than 4 ounces, man. I mean,
it seems like it was 4 1/4. It seems like.
You might want to try it though.
No, I don't think so. Like I said, he had the tank recessed into the profile, perfect cutout for a 4-ounce tank. I'm not going to put this motor in there and redo the engine bearers and then just try to run it on a 4-ounce tank, because I'll end up having to take it out and fill that in and put a bigger tank on it anyway. So I'm just going to I'm just going to put a 5-ounce tank on it and be done with it. So I got some cushion. You know, it's okay to go bigger, but
I think that's a good idea.
If you build it too small, you can't do anything after that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
it's that, or have Brodak build you a tank that'll fit in that hole and just make it a little bit wider.
well, yeah, there's that. But I mean, why would I pay $25 for a tank when I got a half a dozen 5-ounce tanks, Uniflow tanks sitting here? You know, I'll do the work on the airplane. So I'm going to keep his old, well, here, let me show it to you again. I know I showed this a long time ago because I was asking what it was, but that's
what it is.
Nice.
That's the Mobest. These nice gear and these pants are pretty rough. They're pretty jacked up. So those are going to go away. And I've got some nice carbon fiber gear, profile gear from Hobby King I'm going to put on it. See what I'm talking about? He built that with that recessed 4-ounce tank.
Yeah. I remember reading the article, the build article on that plane.
Right. And I can't believe this thing flew with an FP40 on it, because I mean it's massive wingspan. It's got one of the longest wingspans I think I've seen on any profile.
Clayton Smith built one of those with an FP40 on it, and I flew it once. I couldn't believe how well it flew.
Okay.
It flew very well on an FP. So with that PA, it's gonna honk.
Right, but I'm gonna have to hog this out and then reinforce it. But I'm gonna do it. This was Marshall's plane, and that was Marshall's PA, and I'm sticking it in here just because I want to have a profile with a PA and a 3-bladed prop. Why not? Right?
Why not?
I think it'll be cool. I may sand down the fuse too and repaint it. I'll definitely keep his AMA number on there, and then I'll just add mine beneath it.
Very nice.
Yeah, one thing about it is, Mike, is that when you go to these smaller contests, you'll have a profile to fly in it.
Well, I got plenty of profiles. The reason I got it is because it was Marshall's and because it's a Mobest. You just don't see a whole lot of them, you know. You don't see a lot, and it's straight. It's light. I think it's going to be a good flying airplane. So I didn't want to see it end up in the garbage dump or, you know, wherever.
Sure. Hey guys, let me catch up on the chat, you guys. I'm getting behind. Let's see here. Craig says, guys, why do planes always have to be shiny? Even the World War II planes, scale, etc. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah, Judge got into that thing.
Why? Because it's easier.
I can't answer that one because I know the last year that I went to the Nationals to actually compete, a guy showed up with a World War II plane. I think it was a Wildcat. No, it wasn't a Wildcat. It was a Hellcat.
F4 Wildcat.
It was Wildcat. And it was absolutely gorgeous. He even had the pre-war roundels on it, and then during the war they enlarged them and ran them outboard a little bit, and he had all that done to scale and done absolutely perfect. He ended up on the back row.
Because he didn't have
there was more work in that airplane than there was in the 20-pointer that won the thing. Wendy's airplane was gorgeous, but it did not compare to that Wildcat.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the year they had the pattern judges there?
Yeah, that's a shame.
It was.
Well, they had.
Yeah, I heard that story that was the year they got the RC pattern guys to do the judging, and they only went by shiny.
And maybe that's what happened. But I tell you what, somebody had their head on backwards because that plane was absolutely exquisite.
I don't know.
Go on, you guys. I still got some more on the chat. And then Montana Farmer says, Craig, it shows better. It shows detail better. That's Craig's response to why they need to be shiny. And then Tom Rammel, who's not here with us, he said he went flying today, 30 degrees, but shiny. I mean, but sunny.
And shiny.
And shiny.
Oh, that was too good.
I like him. He's
but sunny, yes. And you guys, we've had like 20 concurrent viewers, and we have 14 thumbs up.
All right.
So, please continue to hit the thumbs up button. We really want to build this platform so that when people go to their home feed, they'll see on the right side one of these Stunt Hangar videos is a recommended view, and that's only going to happen by having lots of thumbs up. So hit the thumbs up button, and then share and like and subscribe. We have 0 members. We had a member last Friday, which was my first new member that I've actually had something to do with. So that's great. I'd like to get some more subscribers and some new members. And don't forget the super chat. The super chat helps. And again, if you are watching this and it's a replay, we do this every Monday and Friday evening at around 6:45 Pacific Standard Time, PM that is. And you can come in here live and even on the chat box, put your question or comments there live, and we'll answer them. All right, guys, carry on.
Hey, is there a question about props? Is there a formula example, like if you run a 10-6 or a 10? Is there some type of formula that you would use if you wanted to put a 3-blade prop on?
Yes, there is a rule of thumb.
Okay.
The rule of thumb is if you go down 1 inch in diameter with the 3 blades. So if you're running an 11-inch prop, you go down to a 10-inch prop, 3 blade, and you can keep the same pitch, but oftentimes they'll also drop pitch a little bit. You got to play with that a little bit. But for instance, I've got a few of the last of the unobtainium tornado 3 blades, the black ones, and I use 10-4s and 10-6s, and especially since I found that you can repitch them like a carbon fiber prop. Mm-hmm. So that was the rule of thumb we had back in the day. Down 1 inch, play with the pitch a little bit. Maybe. You may not have to.
Mark, I have a question for you. Is it electric or IC?
Well, right now it's just more just knowledge on my part. Probably going to be IC.
Okay. All right.
I'm toying with electric. I want to put an electric together just to do it.
I get it. What I want to say is it really doesn't matter which way you want to go, but why complicate things? The only reason for me to put a 3-blade prop when I can put a 2-blade prop on a plane is because I don't have enough ground clearance.
That would be
so wanting the small diameter prop just to get away with it. But if I have the ground clearance, why?
Yeah, that was part of my thought process is where I fly the grass is a little bit taller, and it's just working on ground clearance. That would have been my biggest reason.
And it looks cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
That's about it. Yeah.
True.
You know what else there is, Mark, is you get a better corner with a 3-blade prop. You also get a smoother engine run.
Mm-hmm.
3 blades, if they're balanced, a smoother run than a 2-blade. So a better corner, smoother run. I try and see what works best. I try 2 blades and 3 blades. It's just based upon the plane,
Sure.
But there are advantages. And there are, like a 2-blade prop would be better in the wind than a 3-blade prop.
But when you say smooth the corner, to me, it's probably slows down the corner a little bit, which is true.
No, it gives you a tighter corner. I meant not the engine will run smoother with a 3-blade, but a 3-blade prop you'll have a smaller corner.
You get less gyro effect.
Why? I mean, doesn't make any. The math doesn't add up.
You get less gyro effect with a smaller diameter.
On my channel at Flying Control Line Stunt, I have like a 2-hour dissertation from Wendy Arnowski on props. It's a great pretty much documentary, and he goes through all the props and he spent a lot of time researching it. It's a pretty good presentation. I'd highly recommend it, Mark, if you can bear the 2 hours or so of just talking about props and even all the things you can do with the prop. Phillips entry, trimming the prop, shaping them, repitching them, whether it be wood, carbon, or what have you. He has a really good dissertation.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure, Charles. I watched that video. I did watch that video, but I think he was referring to the props that I was making at the time, the 3 blades I was making at the time, because my 14-inch props were weighing like 29 grams, 3 blades. So they were super light, very efficient, very good props. But because they're light, it's the weight of the individual blades that gives you the precision, right? So if you have a heavy blade spinning at high RPM versus a light blade spinning at the same RPM, you're talking of 2 different animals. Or you may have 3 lighter blades and compared to a 2-blade prop that's heavy, they break even. So it's just a matter of just putting in proper perspective. And that's why I'm saying that the math doesn't add up. If you're talking about the same exact propeller 2-blade compared to the same exact propeller 3-blade, the 3-blade will give you less corner just because it has more mass, has more precision to it, and it just just math. The math doesn't add up.
When you say less corner, you mean smaller radius corner?
Yeah, it's gonna eat your corner because you have much more mass, you have more gyro precision to it. So the plane will resist that turn more. So the more weight you have for the same propeller, same diameter, same RPM. If you compare a 2-blade prop with a 3-blade prop, the 2-blade prop will always give you a better corner.
Yeah,
no question about it.
3-blade prop, don't you drop down an inch?
Yeah.
You're not going to have the same size.
True, but again, I think if you look at the moment of inertia for a 3-blade prop, it's still kind of. I mean, so you have 3 blades, not 2. You have 3 times the math. So if you do the mathematics over there, you have to multiply by 3 for each blade. Whatever you get moment of inertia for 1 blade, you multiply it by 3. Now you have a 2-blade prop, you multiply it by 2, right? Because you have 2-blade props.
Right.
It may be a little bit more for individual blades, but if you multiply by 2, I almost guarantee you almost end up less than 3.
Trey, I'm not finding fault. You know more about it than I do, but I do know this.
Oh.
Out here on the West Coast, almost every stunt flyer that is competitive and has been in it for a while is running a 3-blade prop. I'm talking about Ted, Bet, all of them. The Fitzgerald, all of them are running 3-blade props, and they're running them for a reason.
Yes, and I think the reason is because they run the PA 70 something, PA 65. They have so much power. You have to tame the motor. You have to hold it back with something.
Running the big PAs, but even back when they were running the 40 SFs or the 46s. Or 40 size and the 50 size, 51 size PAs. They were running 3-blade props. So there's got to be something else involved in there of why they're doing it.
Yes,
I don't know enough about it to know it. I just know that the preferred prop that the people that I know of is a 3-bladed prop.
You have to load those motors properly, because if you have a motor that doesn't have enough load on it, then when you start to do your loops, it's going to kick into a 2-cycle mode. It's going to stay over there in 2 cycles. It's going to start run away faster and faster and faster until it go in very flight, for example, out of the loops, and and then it settles down. Right?
Sounds just like an OS 40 FP on a 2-bladed prop.
Exactly. Whatever, but or too small of a tube. I'm talking load, right? If you don't have enough load, it's going to go from 4 cycles to 2 cycles. It's going to stay there, and it's going to settle in after you go back to level flight, right? That's not what you want. If you have too much load, then it's going to stay in a 4 cycle. Maybe it's going to give you a blip of 2 cycle here or there, if that, and then it's going to stay in a 4 cycle all the time. Now, if you have the correct load on it, then it's going to go from 4 to 2, back to 4, 2, back to 4. It's going to cycle. So it's all about load of the prop. I think they use the 3 blades just to load the motors.
Paul Walker and Chris Cox have all run electric, though. They've been running electric for years. Paul Walker and Chris Cox.
Yeah.
Not sure about
I don't know. I think somebody said it earlier. The reason people run 3-bladed props is because they look cool.
Yes.
I don't believe that there's any performance advantage to a 3-blade whatsoever. And all the West Coasters are using it, but air's the same in the East Coast and the West Coast. And they would be just as successful if they were running 2-bladed props, if that's all they could have. So
yeah.
Well, until I can get my broken prop pile down below 6 inches tall, I'm gonna go like the cheapest version available.
I'll tell you what, and I got a friend of mine that I fly with a lot. Larry Fruits has got bushels of props, and he runs a lot of different engines, all IC engines and stuff. And he'll routinely go back between 2 blades and 3 blades and everything like that. Usually what he settles on is something that the engine is happiest running. All right.
Yeah.
And you got, especially with an IC engine, prop selection has more to do with the way the engine responds than the way the airplane responds.
Makes sense.
For the reasons what Ryan was trying to discuss there with the acceleration, deceleration, loading, overloading, everything like that. The IC engine is a relatively low torque engine, low torque device, and it doesn't like to change speeds. It doesn't like to be loaded up, and so you do things with the prop to try to keep the thing running as steady and dependably as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think with electric, one of the things that was discovered is everybody was spending $75 for 3-bladed carbon props for their IC engines, and they were spending $5 on an APC electric prop because nothing was better than that.
Yeah.
And I think the reason being is that the electric motors are relatively high torque by comparison to IC. High torque meaning that it maintains its RPM better, and it's a lot less responsive, or a lot less dependent, I should say, on the way the prop is loading and unloading itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, now having said all of that, I'm gonna circle around a little bit. I think Tryon was heading there. He started saying it, but I know that one area I'd really like to get into more is I haven't really done enough exploration with wood props on my electrics, and the wood props being a principal advantage being that they're nominally half the weight of almost anything else.
Yeah.
Right.
They are.
Tryon, you were running a Zor, right?
Yes.
Zor wood prop, very light prop. Yeah.
Yes. There are 12-inch props, and they weigh 14 grams.
Yeah. Wow. And there's not a lot you can do about that. I mean, that's a big equalizer. The disc is small, the gyro on the disc is small. So that's all a good thing. And I think the guys who are running, Chris Cox, I think you mentioned him. I think he was running Igor's prop, which is like exceptionally light. It's on the order of 10.5 or 12 grams or something like that.
Maybe the two blades, yes, maybe, but the three blades, I think they're in the 14s as well.
Is it? All right.
Yeah.
But at any rate, the thing with the Igor prop is that I think that comes with a price. The price being number one, it's hard to do. And number two is I understand secondhand. I haven't flown one myself. I understand it's kind of flexible. All right.
Okay,
and the wood prop will deliver the lightweight and still be structural enough to do its job.
Yeah,
so.
and they are, Dennis, and if I may complete what you're saying right now, is that Mark McKinney tried to go back to the three-blade prop and did the testing on it to see if it has any advantage, now that he knows the plane a little bit better and stuff like that. And he said it doesn't give us any extra advantage. So he went back to the two-blade prop. So,
we could all do like Wendy and go for a 5-blade.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
Well, the biggest problem with going to a multi-blade prop is that every time you add a blade, the new blade is creating a foul zone, if you will. If there's an interaction between all the blades, and a prop loses efficiency every time you add a blade. So a 3 is worse than a 2, and a 2 is worse than a 1. All right, if you're looking at just translating motor power into thrust, you should be running one-bladed props like the free flight guys do.
True, and that was my exact logic when I went to a two-blade prop, and I said if they get less and less efficient, why should I go in that direction? So if you can get a one-blade prop, the next best thing is just a two-blade prop. Is the least amount of headaches and everything. So a one-blade prop stunt plane, it kind of looks kind of silly, anyways. I mean,
well, it looks silly when the airplane stops for sure. Probably a more serious problem with a one-blade prop is that you get thrust just on one side. And it's not a nice thing to do to a motor bearing, especially a plane bearing, like a plane bearing IC engine. But even with ball bearings, you're just I think, kind of asking for trouble.
So two-blade is just good.
Yeah, two-blade.
Logical conclusion right there.
Yeah, and I'm not going to dispute or distrust or anything else. Somebody likes
I don't say that.
I'd love to run three-bladed props. I think they look cool, but they're so hard to find one in the first place, and it's just. It's like the pain's not worth the gain, whatever gain there is, and I don't think there is any gain. I don't think there's a performance gain for it. I'm old and set in my ways, but I don't think that I just haven't seen any reason to go to three blades. So
now I want to say something else. Okay, let's say all those PA 75, PA 65, the Berlins, the whatever, the big motors, you use a two-blade prop. Now the two-blade prop will have to be a significantly larger diameter. Now you're dealing with ground clearance, and most people like to have this cool-looking plane, looking like kind of horizontal when you take off, not this nose up, sitting like a, something like that with the long legs hanging down and stuff like that. So it's just they look cool like that. So I think it's combination of everything. It looks cool. You can have the plane lower to the ground, more level, stuff like that. It loads the motor properly. The motor runs well. It's happy with it. And it's a lot of variables over there. But yeah, I think cool and low to the ground, and plus the motor is happy with it. I think that's what wins the.
Yeah, but with electric, you can be low to the ground because you can drop diameter and increase the pitch.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that. You can always do that no matter what you're running.
One trade-off.
For the same thrust, if you want to get the same speed and same thrust, you can go in two different philosophy. You can have low diameter, low pitch, high RPM, or you can go in big diameter, high pitch, low RPM. They're both going to produce the same amount of thrust, and they're both going to produce the same speed. It depends which way you want to run them. And pretty much Igor's set up, and it's run to main to run fast. And actually, that's what I run in the first year. That's in the first flight that I had on the plane. But when I made the change to the two-blade prop, I didn't see any difference.
Actually, I believe there's just a little bit more to it. I mean, we're really doing discussing something that's kind of generality and rule of thumb. The one thing we also have to remember is there's maybe a certain advantage to running a three-bladed prop in our situation, is that we're flying miniaturized aircraft in real scale air. So the scale of the air molecules doesn't change. Obviously, we're driving smaller flying surfaces through that same air. Plus, typically in large, you can't really apply large aircraft dynamics to our applications, because I do not believe that there's too many airplanes, too many full-scale airplanes flying props where the tips are going supersonic. Versus in our applications, anything over, I think about, running over 9,000, 10,000 RPM. The tips on the props are actually traveling at a supersonic velocity.
No, they're not supersonic. Not on a 10 or 12-inch prop, but you're right that there are high tip speeds and stuff, but it's not supersonic.
Also, Peter, also, you will never see a full-size plane running at 9,000 or 11,000 RPM.
That's what I'm saying.
They run at 2,500, 2,800 or something like that. In the cruise.
Yeah, that was my point. So it's to a certain degree, we can apply real world, full-scale dynamics to our applications, but not on all instances, because it is, like I said, miniaturized flying surfaces on real full-scale air, and the RPMs are a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Guys, I really like the conversation we're having, but let me catch up on the chat. Montana Farmer, he says, when is there going to be merchandise like Stunt Hangar shirts and hats? Well, I really can't speak for Sparky, so I don't know when that is, Montana Farmer. I know.
I asked him the other night, a couple of shows ago, and he said he was thinking about doing some new shirts, but leaving out the year because, it's hard to sell a 2018 shirt in 2021.
Yeah. Right.
I think he said he was going to work up some shirts. It's just Stunt Hangar, and he asked people online that if they have any designs that they would like to see, to submit them to him, and he would, eventually work up something. So he is thinking about it, but not with a date on it or year.
Very good. Thank you, Eddie. And James Dean, he says 3 blades give you a bit better corner and more overhead tension. And that's James Dean's opinion.
I think it just depends on the plane too. Like I said, plane and the engine. It's whatever works best for your plane.
Yeah.
John, go ahead.
Well, actually, I had my hand up there because you had yours up trying to get in there, Phil. So
okay, well, I got two quick things. One, everybody says that we're running toy airplanes or scale airplanes in full scale air, and they want to say that since it's not full scale, it's different for them than it is for the real plane. Well, one of the things I do for some local guys I got roped into is coming up and helping build an HO racetrack, little race cars, slot cars that are only that big.
Right.
Well, one of the guys had a car that I knew, the real one, a Chaparral, and a McLaren, and they were running these little cars, little scale bodies. Now, come on now, they're just 2 inches long, but they had the wings up flat, just absolutely flat, so there's no drag. There's no drag, but when they go through the turn, they just come off the track. So I went out there, and I hadn't run a slot car since I was about 16 years old. But I bought a McLaren and painted it like Bruce's was, and I put the wings at 30 degrees the way Bruce ran a lot of times, and took it out and ran it, and I'm blowing guys away that there's no way I should be able to run with. 2 of them that are really good guys got me over in the corner, and they said, "How are you doing this?" He says, "I remember," one of the guys has known me forever. He says, "I remember you and your brother were good when y'all were little." But how are you doing this? I said, go get your McLaren. He went and got his, and I took mine out of my box, and I set mine. He had his wings like this. My wing was sitting at an angle, and I said, okay, if you'll cock your wing up, or just take my body off, put it on your car and go run it. He beat my time all to heck. His car was a lot faster.
You should have told him that you wind your motors yourself.
No, I don't. These are guys I've known all my life. I can't lie to them. But
what do you mean? If you know them all your life, that's why you lie to them.
Yeah, if you know them all your life, that's why you do lie to them.
Yeah.
Anyway, he took the car and he went out and ran it. And he wanted to know what was different. So I showed him, and now I can't come close to him now. It may be full scale air, but it's the same air, whether it's a 22 bullet or a shell out of a dadgum, big ship.
It's pressure per square inch.
That's it. Pressure.
Yeah, it's
PSI
called the scale effect.
Yeah,
it's called the scale effect, and also the Reynolds number.
So these little models are the same thing as a real plane that go through the air because it's just the pressure on them. Period. Okay, so enough of that. Question.
Yeah, I am surprised.
It's been bugging the crap out of me. We're talking about propellers. How do you? Tran runs a forward running prop, or it's a counterclockwise prop. When I switched to electric, I went with all clockwise running props. Okay, what I've noticed is it helps me out a few places, but it hurts me in others. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm switching back to the counterclockwise props because I'd rather deal with the devil I know than the devil I don't know.
That's the only reason for which I run them. Is the devil I know. That's the only reason for which I run it, is because the devil I know, because all the trims can change completely. I mean, because
it does. You go from
you have better line tension on the inside, a little bit looser on the outside, but it's predictable, and and you are kind of used to that anyways in your muscle memory and whatever.
So that has to do with the gyroscopics of the rotation of the engine and the motor.
Yeah, that has to do with
it's going to pull different on the plane. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it does. It pulls. It comes loose at different place.
Yeah.
Instead of coming loose on the outside, it comes loose on the inside. And
but usually
maneuvers. Go ahead.
Like the Clover, that first loop where you lose all your line tension.
Yeah.
If you come across and do the next one, you're picking up speed. So if you lose a little bit there, it isn't like losing it where you're slowing down.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it is, it changes where you lose it, but it isn't as critical because of the speed of the airplane.
Now, one thing I didn't test yet is to run maybe a little bit more pitch and lower the RPM even more. But because the plane is kind of clean, my plane is relatively clean aerodynamic. It doesn't. The motor doesn't rev up a whole lot. I haven't had a chance to do some telemetry on it to see what RPM I'm actually running in the air. I would like to have that, or to see how much amperage I'm running in the air during the flight. I would also like to find that out. But I think I could even up the pitch. I'm running a 12.6 right now. I'm being conservative. I'm saying I'm running about 9,000 RPM. Probably it's much less than that.
Yeah,
so because you have a lightweight prop at low RPM, the gyro precession is very light. I mean, it has very little influence on when I'm flying. I don't really feel it. It's not really something that I'm worried about. Now, if you have a heavy prop running at high RPM, that's going to be a lot more noticeable. So,
I think somebody in Stunt Hangar just did some telemetry. They posted it and how much current draw, and it's on Stunt Hangar. How much current draw in the various maneuvers, how much voltage, and what the RPMs were. Somebody just posted something.
Yeah, there's actually two different planes that they're representing there. They're able to log the motor's efficiency, what the power used at various points through various maneuvers and that. And I'm trying to remember his name. I know him. I used to fly with him in Milwaukee. But the name escapes me right at the moment. I'll remember it. It's right there on the tip of my tongue, you know.
Hey, you can use Tran radio.
I've seen that article, but there's a problem with it. You have two different planes with different power plants. You need to have one plane with different motors, different propellers, and stuff like that. Do the test like that for the same flight, the same lap time, the same flight time. Okay. And then do the comparison side by side between the different power plants, because you are on one plane, right? So it doesn't matter which motors combination you use, you still have the same amount of energy that you have to spend throughout the flight. And then you can get to see, hey, this is better, this is worse, maybe 3 blades is better, and whatever. I don't have that.
I just mentioned it so you can, if you want to find out how they did it, you can like maybe reach out to one of those guys and find out what they used to get those results, and you might be able to apply it for your own purposes.
I think what they're doing, I think what they're doing.
Tranus Radio has all the telemetry, and you can buy all the modules for measuring current and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
Chris
I know
Brigatti is the guy doing it.
There's a couple of options. You can use the later model Castle ESCs, the ICE, and I forget the name, the Edge. Both have built-in telemetry systems that will record everything while you're flying. You can also buy a system from a company called Eagle Tree that will do the same thing for electric, but they also have modules for things like airspeed and stuff like that. I think that was the one. The airspeed is based on a pitot tube system. And pitot tubes aren't just something you bolt on the airplane and go fly. They can be they can be a real pain in the butt to set up. But if you can get it to work out, then you can also get the comparisons on things like RPM and draw and airspeed all at the same time.
Yeah.
The only reason I brought it up, they make it for electric. I believe some of the Eagle Tree systems were you can add them onto an IC airplane to record obviously different data than you would on an electric. But you can get there from here.
I know, but I don't have the money for that. So if you guys want to sponsor me, I'll gladly make the test.
I started collecting data with my Phoenix CSC, and I was getting all of this data, and I'm looking at it and thinking, gosh, that's nice to know. Now what? You know? my bottom line.
Let me interrupt real quick.
If you will, the adjustable nut at the handle is still the one that's basically processing the data. Does the airplane, is the airplane flying well or not? Does it need this or that or the other thing? Do I have enough power or do I not have enough power? I don't need to look at a graph to tell that, and it's nice to look at the data and you can do things like say, gee, I'm worried about, do I need to run a 100C battery pack, a high discharge battery pack, to keep up with the power? And just to find out that, gee, I'm only averaging, I think this has been done by several people on several different airplanes. You're getting numbers like 15 to 17 amps in low flight and possibly 30 to 35 amps in a vertical climb or, other high thing. So it's like, once you know this stuff, it's like, okay, it's bigger than a bread box. Now move on, get over it. Move on to the next thing. Move on to something that improves your stunt pattern. All right.
Yeah.
And knowing all this data doesn't really improve your stunt pattern.
Yeah.
So it's a need to know thing, but it's, you can't act on it, I guess.
Yeah, but wasn't there somebody?
Hang on, Peter. Ed, go ahead, Ed. You've been waiting, and your hand's getting tired. I can tell. Go ahead, Ed.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, okay, hold on. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot what I was going to say. This is for the electric guys. Does do all the ESCs have an over rev on them where if your prop comes loose, does the motor shut down?
Yeah.
No.
Or is that just
if the
certain
prop falls off, the RPM goes the same. Electric don't overspeed.
I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah, electric motors do not run overspeed. You send it a signal to run 10,000 RPM. Put a prop on it. It'll run 10,000 RPM. Put a bigger prop on. It'll run 10,000 RPM.
Still run.
Okay, so you set the RPMs you want to run.
So much prop on it, the motor will die trying to give you 10,000 RPM, but either the motor will burn up or the ESC will burn up or something like that. All right.
Okay, so it's not like an IC engine where you throw a prop, it's gonna just
if you throw a prop on an electric engine, it still runs at 10,000 RPM. Only it does it with absolutely no current draw to speak of. All right, because it's so low.
I was just curious. I mean, because I'm actually when I build that El Diablo, I'm thinking about going electric on it, just for the shit and giggles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Peter.
The article that you're talking about at the start.
Go ahead, Peter. Hang on, Robert. Hang on, Robert. Let me get Peter. I cut him off earlier.
This is just a comment on data collection, and sometimes you have the data, but does it really improve anything? But that kind of made me think back. It stirred a memory. Didn't one of the top stunt guys, actually bolt an airplane or a wing to the front of their station wagon and drive it down the road?
Al Raby.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, and he didn't do the whole airplane. He did his own airfoil test. He built like little
one wing panel.
And he bolted that to the front of his. He had a 57 Mercury or something like that, and he used to run it up and down. And he was able to collect data on airfoil A is better than airfoil B, and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I think with the data, if you collect the data in different situations on the same plane, say you have different motors, different propellers, different things on a plane, you can definitely find out quite a few things. You can find out, for example, which motor run the hottest, right? Which battery run the hottest, which ESC run the hottest. Then you find out, obviously from the flying, you can find out, man, I kind of like this 2-blade prop, or I kind of like this 3-blade prop. I kind of like whatever prop, right? Or you can find out which system is most efficient. Should I go with a big motor or should I stay with a small motor? It kind of answers those questions, right? Should I go with a 3-blade prop or should I stay with a 2-blade prop? But now, if you want to really push it to the edge and find out the absolute limits, But like Dennis said, for most part, it's like you're happy with what you got, or you're not happy with what you got, and you make some changes and go in the right direction.
I think I'll tell you what I look at when I'm looking at motor efficiency and everything like that. I set up the airplane, get it trimmed. I fly stunt patterns. I fly full stunt patterns. And one thing neat about the electric is my flight is going to last exactly 5 minutes and 30 seconds every single time.
Yes.
And I go home and I recharge my batteries, and I don't plug a meter and say how much percent's left. I recharge the battery, and it tells me how many milliamps went back into the battery. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I have how much energy did I use in 5 minutes and 30 seconds? How many milliamps did I use? Okay. And low power systems will use more amperage, will use more battery power than high power systems will. Which is kind of, you think about it, it's kind of backwards, if you will, from IC. You put a bigger motor in, it uses less energy. And normally in IC engine, you take the 35 out, you put a 45 out, put a 75 out, gee, I got more power. No, you got the same amount of power. But, so to me, my battery usage is, to me, the most important measure in my mind of how heavy the system is, if you will.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Go ahead, Robert.
Sorry, I'm ranting again. So.
Yeah. Carrying on with from Peter's comment, that was Chris Rigotti did those tests with Mike Scott.
Yeah.
And it was an e-logger is what he used to collect the data.
Yeah.
And he's got it down, you know, the temperature, the wind, everything. It's actually a pretty good article. It's been going on for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, I've got to say goodnight, gentlemen. I've got a stupid early start tomorrow, so hopefully see you Friday.
Oh, that'd be great.
All right, good night.
And Robert,
Take care of yourself.
Friday, don't forget,
Yeah, good
we're
night.
going to have a special guest this weekend, Dan Winship, showing how to make bell cranks and landing gear and maybe all kinds of stuff. So you might want to make sure you catch that.
Is that going to be on Friday
up
or
on
Saturday?
Builds there.
on Saturday? Okay.
Saturday morning. I'm not sure what time they start. I believe it's around 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But it's going to be John Jordan and Dan Winship and Sparky at John Jordan's garage.
Yeah, it's Saturday at John's with whatever Winship. Yeah,
that ought to be good.
It should be really good. I'm going to try to catch the live broadcast so I can ask questions. And you guys, on the likes, we're doing pretty good. I mean, the thumbs up, we've had 20 viewers and we have 18 likes. So thank you so much. I'm really pleased with that. But I could get 2 more. That'd be great. 100%. It'd be awesome. And so don't forget, when we get off, we can also do likes as well. So, thumbs up. So we can get it over the top. That'd be fantastic.
There you go.
Yep.
I did my part.
Thank you.
I did my part.
Too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, you guys.
Me too.
I give Sparky a thumbs up even if I don't watch it.
Yeah, how we're gonna build this channel. We gotta really be in it. All hands on deck to build this platform because we're a small community. So we really need 100% participation.
Where's Mike? He wants to talk. There you are. What you need, buddy?
Yeah, I was watching before I got on, and Eddie, that plane you held up earlier that I traded you for the Chipmunk, that's a Yuki 35 is what that airplane is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chad Hill built those for his son when he was younger, and he only flew a little bit, and then he stopped flying. But I heard Robert Whiteley say that he built 6 of them, but Rob built rugged stunt trainers, not Yuki 35s.
Yeah, I ain't put this in there yet. Did you ever fly yours?
Yeah, we flew ours a bunch. Sam flew it a bunch of times, and then we donated it to the Nats beginner prize table 2 years ago.
All right.
He outgrew it, and he was over it, so it was still in one piece. So we put a Fox 35 on it, and we donated it to the beginner table at the Nats. Okay. I think one of Mike Scott's grandchildren got it. The guy from Texas.
Okay. Question on the single landing gear.
Yeah.
Do you take off with the single landing gear, or is it for landing?
Well, either way, it'll take off with one. Just make sure it's turned out to the right and not turned in. It can be a little troublesome on tall grass. It's better just to chuck it.
Hand launch, yeah.
Yeah, or take it off. You don't even need it. Take it off.
We're gonna put 2 wheels on ours.
Yeah. I know.
For the longest time, we never even used the landing gear to take off anyway. We just tossed them up and let them go.
It's just going to flip over. It's just going to flip
landing
over.
And let it go.
It's just going to flip over in tall grass with one wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Lucas on this one.
All right, I have a Saginaw build a progress report.
All right, Peter, bring it
out to you guys. It has to, I'm at the stage where I have to install the bell crank into the wing, and we've already discussed my little mod on the bell crank. But what I discovered is I'm getting ready to put this in there, is that it's this kit calls for a suspended bell crank installed into the wing, and that means is that the wing and the bell crank mounts are already installed, pretty much installed in the center of the wing, and obviously the only way of getting this whole assembly in there is to actually assemble it into the wings, into the mounts that are already installed. Now, the one issue that I have with that is that in order to get the bell crank suspended in the middle, they give you a bunch of little eyelets to be positioned in different places on the central shaft. Now the deal is, and then you turn around and you basically put the shaft through the top hole and you start putting in all your little spacers into the shaft as you're pushing it through to the bottom mount that's already in the wing. It's through the spar, through the top mount, down through all these bushings, and then continuing down at the bottom end into the bottom plywood mount. Now, once that's done, the only way you can secure how high or low this bell crank sits, whether it's right side up or when the plane's inverted, is these brass eyelets have to be soldered onto in different stations onto the central steel shaft. Wow. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but to give you an idea, that means I've got to get in there into this wing. You see, there's the bottom mount. I haven't installed the top mount yet. That's that big plywood piece, but it goes in through the top of the wing, through the top mount into the bottom mount. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm really leery of taking a soldering iron and applying all sorts of heat to try to solder all this stuff into location.
Can you use a wheel collar?
Once you get it captured between the plywood, it doesn't matter if it's soldered or not.
Oh yeah, no. Actually, in this case, it does, because the deal is I've got more. The way it spaces out, if I don't at least solder one of them, the whole thing can move this way.
Well, put plywood.
Use tubing.
That doesn't let it move.
I'm just bringing that up. That is exactly. Plus, not only don't I particularly like, if this was anything other than nylon and all the bushings nylon, I would typically not hesitate too much of applying soldering gun heat. But since I have to do it, well, it's also inside the wooden frame.
Maybe weld it or use tubing.
I'm just bringing this up. You guys you're exactly putting up the proper the solution. So I'm going to use these nylon spacers, and they're cut to the appropriate height. And then the only place I have to solder, basically, and even I don't even like to do that because again, it's going to heat up the balsa. Is I got to put a washer on the top and the washer on the bottom to keep the whole
JB Weld
from going up and down.
It's a good idea, Pete, but I JB Weld it, but that'll work. That's the way it's on several of my planes.
So I just figured I'd bring it up because anybody else that's going to be building the kit is going to be presented with the same challenge, and some guys may not have not been around long enough or have built as many model airplanes to know how to work that out. Anyway, that's my update on the Saginaw construction.
Hey, Phil.
Actually, there is one other way out of your situation, which would be to, you might go rogue versus a manual. And I'd say cut out your ribs so that you can put the bell crank in, then put the platform in over the top of it, and then glue the rib pieces back in on top of that.
Yeah, that's certainly an option that I have, but I'm at the construction phase where that's kind of like impractical at this point. I got further on, that bottom mount has already been epoxied in place, and now I have to do some serious surgery to get it out of there.
Hey Phil.
Yes, sir.
On that spinner, you want a clockwise or counterclockwise?
I want a clockwise. I have a counterclockwise.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try the two of them, and I'm checking my engine temperature and all that stuff, just trying to make sure this is gonna work. But I haven't been able to fly it lately. Some idiot went out to Hobby Park and took a 4-wheel drive and just destroyed our circles. So we're
well, I was going to say is that make sure you get the right collet when you order this. Well, you need 1 3/4 inches.
Yes, sir.
And that comes with a 4 millimeter, so you got to order the collet for a 5 millimeter.
I gotta have a 5, but I don't have a 5 in the other one. I'll just take it out of the other one and stick in it.
But just go to Max Products, MAXX.
Okay.
Products.
Okay.
And then you can find all the spinners in both directions. They have the collet. They have them MPI wheels. All that there. That's where
I have several pairs of those wheels.
Huh?
I have several pairs of those, several sets of those wheels.
Right, and that's where they get them from. But if you go to Max Products, you'll see all the stuff they have there.
I'll give them a call. I'll look at them here in a few minutes on the computer. I have Magic Computer over here.
Yeah. But yeah, I brought up Max Products, and they got it all in stock. And
cool. I'll give them a call. I'll look them up tomorrow. Then thank you. I mean, I'll get in touch with them tomorrow. I'll look them up tonight.
Oh, okay.
I appreciate that, Steve.
Not a problem.
I tell you what, this stuff, plastic spinner is driving me up the wall. I've had all the plastic spinner I want. If it don't have a metal back plate, I don't think I'll ever run another plastic spinner. I got out there and was trying to help a guy fly a plane with no landing gear. So he was flying over on the radio control side out in the field. But he didn't, well, like I say, he didn't have a landing gear and there was no RC guys out there. It was kind of soggy. I thought it was kind of silly to be out there anyway, as wet as it was. But I got the motor started and we're out playing around with this darn thing. And every time I get it started, it would pop the prop. And I kept looking at this silly thing and I said, what the heck? I finally told him, I've had enough. I'll be back in a minute. I walked up to my car and I got him a brand new spinner out and I put it on his plane. It's got a metal back plate. He flew it about 6 times. We never popped another prop. Just to be sure. He wanted to fly one more time. Well, I'm getting tired with this time. It's about 10 flights in. I'm getting tired just watching him go around circles because he's not a stunt flyer. He's just trying to learn to fly straight level. We put the other prop back on it. Put the other spinner back on it. Hit the darn thing, and the first time I hit it, it popped the spinner. So I tightened it up again, put it back together, flipped it backwards. It started. McCoy 35 now. He takes off and flies it, and he's flying, and it pops the prop.
Maybe you need sandpaper between the.
Didn't shaft run. It did die. It
did die try the sandpaper trick.
Well, I tried the sandpaper trick. I always carry those discs with me. 220 sandpaper, and I put that in there, and I put that plastic on it. It popped the prop anyway. I finally got bright and took that back plate and put it up to the sun and said, I have a question. How old is this bloody spinner? Okay. He said, it was my dad's spinner. Well, I knew his dad. His dad's been dead for 40 years. So anyway, I told him, please take this home, put it on the wall, and keep my spinner and fly it because you're going to be nothing but frustrated trying to fly that spinner.
Yeah.
Well, number 7 for Saban.
Do I?
Yeah.
7 for Saban. Oh, okay. I don't think I'll ever have another plastic back spinner. That's an exercise in futility.
Huh. I've never had problems with plastic back plates.
Wow. You're lucky.
Only one I've had problems with is, matter of fact,
Steve never has trouble with plastic back plates. Oh, never mind. Steve's planes don't last long enough to have a problem.
Yeah, I just bought me some Dubros, but they had the lock nuts on them because I had the problems with the screws coming out.
Yeah.
But I like the Dubros with the locking nuts on the back.
Yeah, I hate how it's recessed in the back. That back plate how it's recessed. I really don't like that.
I ain't never had a problem. Like I say, I've never had a problem with them, but like I say, I don't fly, probably 4 or 5 flights a year now. So I mean they'll last. But if I flew competition, then yeah, I'd have the better stuff. But for me, it worked.
Put 2 zeros behind that, and that's a bad year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you still can get the CB Associates there hooked up. Charles with last time.
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
they still have the plastic spinners with the aluminum backplates.
Yeah, that's what we get.
It came in today. I had ordered one and I received it today. A CB Associates spinner. So thank you very much.
You'll like it, and they got that rounded shape you were after, like a
Yeah,
Mustang.
right. Yeah, the Great Plains is just too pointy. And Peter, he actually emailed me or messaged me earlier this week, and I appreciate it.
So the CBs are available again?
Well, I found on eBay. This is probably new product, old inventory kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can get them on eBay, but Mecoa, MECOA, I believe, has them. I picked up the product line.
Yeah, they're more expensive that way.
How much did you have to pay for it, Charles?
I think the last one, it was a total of like $9.
Wow, I paid $7 for the cheap ones. That's
including shipping. It was like $4 for like $5 for the spinner, and then it was another $4 or $5, so less than $10. And it was at my door.
That's a deal.
Yeah, I thought so. It's an inch and 3/4, so I'm going to use it on either. I have some classic strips.
Where is this at?
eBay.
Oh, okay.
The bay.
You can, like I said, you can try the Mecoa, MECOA, the model.
Yeah, I went there. I saw them.
They have them as well, but they're going to be more money.
More money, yeah. But the same thing, it's like, nah.
I'll tell you what, there's.
Yeah, so you can go on eBay and do a search for C.B. Associate spinner, and then they'll come up with whatever people are selling on eBay.
And there's a couple of 2-inch ones out there still, but it's more money. It'd be like $15, be $9.99 for the spinner, and then another $5 or $6 shipping.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Max Products carries an MPI aluminum billet spinner. They're $17.
That's not bad at all.
And I mean, the inch and 3/4 weighs 0.9, and the 2-inch weighs 1 ounce. They're not real heavy.
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I like the lighter weight of the plastic, but the plastic just doesn't hold up.
If you're going to use it, especially if you're going to use an electric starter on them.
Oh, I've never used. I've got an electric starter. I push the button, I walk out to the handle, it goes beep. I carry.
How they go again?
Starter.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
Oh,
it sounded like the real deal.
My sound effects aren't too good.
No, that was good.
I like that. I want to hear it again.
I thought it was pretty good.
I have had an electric starter in my box for the last 6 to 8 years, and I have never yet used it on my own plane. But some of my buddies have used it just about every time we go out there.
Yeah, I don't like using it.
I don't like using it. It's heck on the back plate.
Yeah, I don't like pushing the crankshaft against the back plate. Against the cover plate.
Yeah,
I don't either. But
well, you guys, I'm going to end in the stream, and we can go into the after party. But as a recap, hey, thank you very much. We're up to the 20 thumbs up I wanted. Appreciate it immensely. Thank you. Great job. And of course, when we get off, we're going to do our own thumbs up, so we'll get way up over there. And we had like 20 concurrent viewers. The average watch time is about 21 minutes. And we had some chatter on the chat box between James Dean and Montana Connor and Craig. And a new person, the name is spelled SCVMCQN. Don't have a clue on how to say that. But appreciate your participation very much. And don't forget to give the thumbs up, and don't forget the memberships, the YouTube memberships, and subscribe and share, and go out there and have some fun, and then come back and tell us about it Friday, and we'll see you then. That's Friday, same time, same channel.
Hey, Charles?
Yeah.
Maybe we should like implement on a weekly basis. Just put a question out there for the Facebook guys. What would you like to be discussed, during the next chat session? This way we can get it here.
Hey, I was, any of you guys can solicit questions too. We can, but yeah, out there in the chat box. That's why I've been telling people, if you happen to be watching the replay, we actually do this Monday and Friday evenings at 6:40. I try to start at 6:45. Actually, I start the monologue at 6:45, but at Pacific Standard Time at PM. Now we can get into the live portion of the show, and you can put your questions there and your comments, and you also can come inside and fellowship with us. So that's how I'd like to just leave the show. Submit your questions, comments, and you also can do it in the on the replay. There's a comment section. I usually don't go on Sparky's channel very much. Excuse me, on Sparky's channel very much, except for these broadcasts. So I would miss those comments, but maybe Sparky would. I'm sure he knows the answer anyway, so he would comment on it during his broadcast. But anyways, I'm going to end this live stream, and those of you out there who can't get in here, you don't know what you're missing. The live streams are sometimes better than the stream portion. So come on in, join so you can get inside here and have fun at the after party with us.